So let's go up to Fenway Park in Boston right now. MASNsports.com's School of Roch Kubatko joins us. And Roch, let's talk a little bit about the starters the rest of the way beyond this first game of the doubleheader. Who do you think is going to be in the rotation till the end?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting a little clearer, but not completely clear. We know that Ryan Meissinger's making his first major league start today, but we don't know about the Game 2 starter. Buck has a name in mind, but he has to keep reminding us it really depends on what relievers he needs in Game 1. I mean, if this thing falls apart, we've got to go to his bullpen consistently, or if we get a 15, 16-inning game, you may be starting Game 2. But he's dropped a few hints. It sounds like he wants to use a lefty to start Game 2, and Sean Gilmartin is not available after pitching 4 scoreless innings on Monday. So I'm thinking Donnie Hart could be that guy in Game 2. It's just a hunch. I don't think it's John Means, though he's expected to pitch today. Buck said there's only about maybe 3 guys that he won't be able to use today. So it's kind of an all-hands-on-deck thing. But again, it depends what relievers he needs before he decides Game 2. David Hess is going to open the final homestand of the series against the Astros on Thursday. Jeffrey Ramirez Friday, assuming that the cut doesn't reopen on his thumb. And then Dylan Bundy Saturday, and then the final game is TBD. And apparently a lot of guys don't line up wanting to pitch the last day, which I don't understand. But you figure guys are going to be swinging. 3 o'clock game, you're going to get the shadows. It probably works to a pitcher's advantage. But for some reason, there are guys who would prefer not to pitch that final game. But right now, that's all we know about the rotation.
Well, Roch, the season wouldn't be complete without one more update on Hunter Harvey, so let us have it.
Savor it. The good news is that the MRI, the latest, didn't show any structural damage in the elbow. He had it Monday in Baltimore. It's tendonitis. He's going to be shut down still, and he's just been prescribed rest at this point. Now, the bad part is that he had to undergo another MRI on his elbow and has to be shut down again. That's the bad part of all this, because we know he's only made 9 starts at Bowie this year. He's had the elbow issue. He had some tightness in the forearm, and of course he had that freakish accident with his right shoulder when he was trying to avoid a line drive heading to the Bowie dugout, moved back, the shoulder popped out and back in the socket. So it's been a few months since he's even made a start. I think what was concerning to the Orioles is that this elbow tenderness came back again while he was throwing flat ground. He wasn't even back on a mound at this point when it happened, but no structural damage. And I checked again. They said he's just going to rest. There's no reason to rush him back out there, try and get him to throw again. He won't pitch in the AFL, the Arizona Fall League, which they were hoping he would. They just need to get him healthy again, shut him down for a prolonged stretch, and then maybe he can go ahead and start getting back on a throwing program. But they're obviously going to be very careful with him because they were hoping that at some point he would be pitching the rotation this summer, and it never happened.
Roch, give us an update on what Brian Roberts is doing in Sarasota.
Well, it's a great thing they have going this fall instructional league at the Ed Smith Stadium complex. They do it every year, but this year they actually broke it down into 3 stations where it's more of your traditional fall league where everything's done, all the baseball activities. Then there's strictly a hitting camp, and then you have a strength and conditioning camp. It's not a fat camp. Nobody's calling it that. But guys that could benefit from going to there, and I have a feeling they'd like to get Luis Ortiz there, for example, to have him improve his conditioning. And Brian Roberts was invited by Brian Graham, the Director of Player Development, and he lives in Sarasota, so he didn't have far to go, but he invited him, come out to the camp and talk to these guys about base running. And Brian was really good at it, stole 50 bases back in 2007, had like 235 steals over a 7-year period. So he had a captive audience for about an hour talking to these kids. And it wasn't just about base stealing, just the importance of getting on base, of being able to score runs. He quoted some managers talking about the importance of those 90-feet increments to score that run. Nothing more important than scoring a run here in the sport, which we can figure out. So Brian apparently was a big hit. He was very articulate, very thorough in his instruction. Guys know who Brian Roberts is, but nonetheless, the Orioles still made sure that they all saw his numbers to kind of lend credence to what he was saying. And I think it's always a good thing, and the Orioles certainly do, to invite guys back who have been big parts of the organization. And again, Brian lives in Sarasota, so it made total sense to have him there.
Well, Roch, we always appreciate your comments. Look forward to chatting with you real soon. Roch Kubatko there at Fenway Park in Boston before the Orioles play the first of 2 against the Red Sox.